What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod and welcome to the episode of Yugioh Chat. Now quite recently I've been doing all my testing of new decks up on DevPro. Now for those of you who don't know what DevPro is, it's something that's very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. And in fact it's kind of a more updated version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Now a lot of duelists, a lot of players have been kind of switching over from DevPro over from Dueling Network. So for those of you guys who don't know what DevPro is, in this video I'm going to kind of explain the differences between Dueling Network and DevPro, the benefits and the disadvantages of both, and ultimately which one I kind of decide to go with. Now DevPro, I guess the biggest difference and the best thing going for it is that it's automated. Meaning no longer do you actually have to maneuver the cards around on your field like you would on Dueling Network. So for example, let's say you play a card like Dark Hole. Before you'd have to wait for your opponent to move all their monsters into the graveyard and you'd have to move your monsters into the graveyard. Now on DevPro, if you play Dark Hole, the computer automatically puts all the monster cards in the graveyard. If Sangan was on the field, for example, the computer would automatically activate Sangan's effect and tell the person, whoever had the Sangan on the field, pick a card to add to your hand that meets the requirements of Sangan, which is kind of cool. So if you activate a card like Reinforcement of the Army, no longer you have to go over to your deck, click View Deck, look through all the cards on your deck, all the spells, traps, until you find a monster that you can actually grab. Now the computer, when you play Reinforcement of the Army, will bring up all the warrior monsters in your deck that you can grab, and you can add one to your hand. It's all done automatic. And so one of the other great things about that is that now this eliminates any kind of ruling questions because the computer has all the rulings in it already. So if you think you can go ahead and use Thunder King's effect to stop Monster Reborn and it won't let you because it's not an inherent summon, no longer do you have to call the admin over and wait 10-15 minutes so they can hopefully give you a correct ruling. Now all the rulings are already in DevPro, so you no longer have to worry about second guessing, or is this right or is this not right, or let's get an admin involved. All that is eliminated. It speeds the duel up immensely to kind of get rid of that, and that's kind of awesome. So with that said, why is it that not everyone's switching over if you don't have to worry about moving the cards around yourself? Everything's automated, all the rulings are done for you. What is the drawback of DevPro? Well, the main thing that I guess most people have a problem with is that it's not an actual website like Dueling Network. It's an actual program, meaning you have to actually download it from the internet, you have to install it on your computer and then run it that way. Now some people, this is going to raise red flags everywhere because they don't like to do this. It sets off alarms saying, oh my gosh, there could be viruses, there could be this, there could be that. And it's true, there is potential for that kind of stuff to happen. Now I myself personally have never had any issues with any kind of viruses or anything like that pertaining to DevPro, but there is the possibility out there, and I guess that's something to be aware of, and that's something that some people do not like. Also, since it's a program and not an actual website, there could be some compatibility issues with like Mac users versus PC users. And so it's another thing to kind of be a little bit aware of. So, that said, is that the only thing that's kind of holding DevPro back? Not necessarily. One of the things I really enjoy about Dueling Network quite a bit is the interaction that you have with the other people on Dueling Network. You have a watcher's chat that you can sit there and you can talk to the other people with. You have a lot of chat that goes on between you and your opponent because you actually have to talk to them saying you're doing this move, you're doing that move. Typically when I'm talking to someone on Dueling Network, I'm actually talking, how's your day been, what you up to, blah, 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 where'd you come up with the idea for this deck, something like that. And I'm also kind of chit-chatting with people in the watcher's room. Also, that being said, if a couple of my friends are on and they're already in a duel, and I want to kind of see what they're doing and see how their duel is going, I can just go and view the duel in the middle of it. Whereas in DevPro, you can still spectate and view the duel, but you have to do it before the starts. So if the duel is already started and you just kind of want to come in for the middle of it and see how things are going, you cannot do that. Also, there's no ongoing chat box, I guess you could say, for the watcher's chat or anything like that. It's just kind of a little blurb that'll pop up on the screen. In fact, one of the things that I dislike about DevPro is that it feels almost like you're dueling against the computer, like you're playing one of the DS games or the PSP games, that you're not actually dueling another living person. Because there's been so many games on DevPro, since it's so automated that you don't have to say nothing to the other person, that I've never even said one word to them. They never said anything to me, and almost felt like I was actually dueling against the computer, or like I wasn't actually dueling another living person. And that, I think, kind of takes a little bit of the fun aspect away that Dueling Network brought. A lot of the social aspect for sure. One of the other benefits though that I like about DevPro is that I like to test a lot of my decks on Dueling Network and DevPro, and a lot of things I put on the DN title is that I'm looking to play only TCG decks. Now a lot of people go on these so they can test out the new OCG cards, but that's not really what I like to do. When I build a deck on there, I want to see how it's going to work in today's meta. I don't want to know how it's going to work against a deck that's going to come out in 3, 6, or 9 months from now. I want to know how it's going to work against the deck now. Now, if I put that I'm looking for TCG only in DevPro, if somebody tries to join my game and they have OCG cards in their deck, the computer's not going to let them join. They're going to say, hey, no, you have an OCG card in this deck. Pick a different deck or leave so that you can play someone else, which is kind of cool. It's kind of neat to have to filter that out. Also, since everything is so automated, it eliminates any kind of, not really so much cheating, but player takebacks, I guess you could say. A lot of times on Dueling Network, somebody will be like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I misplayed. I shouldn't have done that. Can I take that back? And on DevPro, once you make a move, that's it. The move is done. You got to live with it. And I think that's kind of cool too. It kind of eliminates all that. Also, another thing I really enjoy about DevPro is that it's got a replay function. Meaning that after the whole duel is gone, if you weren't actually screen recording that duel, you can hit save duel and it will actually save the whole duel for you, and you can bring it back up and then you can screen record it then. It'll actually show, when you do the replay, your opponent's hand as well as your hand, so you can kind of see every move that both players were making and maybe why they made that move instead of a different one. It's kind of a cool feature. It does it in a sped up motion too, so the duel, if it was like 15 minutes, might only take like 2 or 3 minutes in a replay. It's awesome. It gets rid of all that thinking time that you would normally have in a screen recording where your opponent's sitting there going, I wonder what I should do next. Yeah. And that's really good actually. Now the final bad thing that I've noticed about DevPro is that the servers tend to go down quite a bit, meaning that you could be in the middle of the game and all of a sudden the game will stop working, or you'll try and host a duel and they won't let you because there's too much activity or whatever's going on, and that's kind of an issue, but that'll probably be fixed as time moves on. I mean, sometimes those are like little kinks that happen when a program or a website first gets developed and first starts to become popular because they're not prepared for such activity or such immense amount of activity. But hopefully that will be an issue that kind of gets crushed out as time goes on. Anyways, those are kind of my thoughts on DevPro and DN. DN, I think the biggest benefit to it is that it's easy to access, meaning that it's a website, so you can go onto it anywhere, and that it's really interactive with the other people on there. It's a much more interactive, kind of user-friendly kind of place to go to, whereas DevPro is a much more game-friendly, I guess you could say, where if you just want to go on and test a deck and kind of go through a couple of really quick, fast matches and not have to worry about rulings or what cards do or stuff like that, then that's kind of a little bit better. So lately for me, I've been using DevPro more because I have been testing quite a bit of decks lately, and I've been using that. I think it's a lot more easier, funner way to do it. Anyways, in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think between DevPro and Dueling Network. Which one do you find better and why? And I guess that's about it for now. This is GalacticGod.